Welcome, I'm Todd Robbins. September 28th. A number of malevolent things happened on this day. Here's just a handful of them, going way, way back to 48 BC. Pompey the Great, the Roman military leader, is assassinated. He lands in Egypt with a bunch of troops, and the king of Egypt, where he had landed there, took out a hit on him. And Pompey was no more. Not to be confused with the city that was named after him, that was obliterated by Mount Vesuvius. No, this is the man. In 1528, there was a hurricane down in Florida. It could happen. A hurricane down in Florida way back then, and it was Spanish territory at that time. Of course, it was way before the United States came to be. And that hurricane wiped out a whole fleet of Spanish ships, and 380 people were killed. In 1701, in Maryland, the colony, because America hadn't come into being at that time, Maryland was not a state, it was a colony, and they legalized divorce. What took them so long? 1850, the U.S. Navy abolishes flogging as punishment. If you don't know what flogging is, if you had done something really bad, you were a sailor, they would strip off your shirt and tie it to a mast and whip you. That's flogging, often with a cat of nine tails. In this day, they outlawed it in 1850. It just took all the fun out of being in the Navy. Well, not all of the fun, but a lot of the fun. 1887, the Yellow River, or the Huanghe River, floods in China, killing we're not even sure exactly, between 900,000 and 2 million people. That's a lot of people. 1904, in New York City, there was a woman on a public car, I think like a bus of some kind or a trolley, going down Fifth Avenue, and she's arrested. What is she arrested for? She was smoking a cigarette. Women. 1920, 8 of the White Sox, the Chicago White Sox baseball team, 8 members were indicted for taking bribes to throw the previous year's World Series, the 1919 World Series. From there on in, that year's team was known as the Black Sox because of taking a bribe to throw the game. And they did so because they were so woefully underpaid by the owner of the White Sox, Comiskey. So it ruined their lives. Their careers were over, even though they were later on vindicated when they were found not guilty. 1982, first reports appear out of Chicago of something very awful happening. Someone had gone into a drugstore and taken and switched out the Tylenol capsules, those little capsules. They had gone to the great trouble. A great deal of time and effort went into taking those capsules out of that bottle and then emptying them out and replacing them with cyanide. Packaging it all back up and going back in and putting it on the shelf there. They did a number of these, and a number of people died, and even after that, when the word got out, there were a number of copycat crimes done, a number of copycat killings done this way. And on this day was the first report of someone dying. So there you go. In 1994, more than 900 people die when a Estonian ferry capsizes and sinks in the Baltic Sea. You know, a ferry like that, people are just going from one place to the other, and it goes without incidents day in and day out, and they think nothing of it, getting on a ferry, looking forward to where they're going, and then for more than 900 of them on this day, they didn't get there. 2018, it was a 7.5 magnitude earthquake that hit just off of the shore of Indonesia. And it set off tsunamis that hit several of the cities there, Donggala and Palu. And almost 1,700 people were killed by that tsunami. Mother Nature was not happy at this time. She's not happy. A number of things that happened through this on this day, throughout the years. This has nothing to do with Mother Nature. This just is pure human in nature, which is even more evil than what happens in nature. In 2018, up to 50 million Facebook accounts, probably mine and yours, 50 million were hacked due to a weakness in the code. So sleep well at night knowing somewhere out there, someone knows who you are and has all kinds of information about you, including pictures of the food that you've eaten for the last handful of years. 1837, an English plumber and inventor was born, and he created the ball cock, which is the device that turns off the water that fills up your toilet. And what was his name? Thomas Crapper. Yes, yes, how appropriate. And on this day, in 1961, a strange man, curious man, con artist and Republican. You can make up your own joke about how that is redundant. Quentin, it's my opinion he's a con artist. I refuse to say that he's a con artist. It's just my opinion. It looks, smells, and like he's a con artist, but that's just me saying this, so we don't get sued. It's opinion. It's not a fact. It's an opinion. Quentin Kawananakoa. I'm probably mispronouncing his name, which will help with the lawsuit that I'm sure is coming towards me now. He says he is a descendant to the throne of the Kingdom of Hawaii. Sure, why not? Of course he is. Of course he is. On this day, in 1961, that was his birthday, Quentin's birthday, 935, Wenceslaus I, the Duke of Bohemia, is assassinated. He was about 28 years old, and he was assassinated by his younger brother, who was known as Boleslas the Cruel. I love these names when you go back that far. Cruel, Ivan the Terrible. We should do that more often these days, don't you think so? People should be known as the Terrible, or the Cruel, or the Good, or the Just, or the Brave. Put those titles on people. I think that'd make things much more interesting, don't you? Of course you do. And finally, on this day is the day that Thomas Carmichael Heinemann was assassinated. Who was he? He was a Confederate general who was wounded during the Civil War, at the Battle of Chickamauga, something like that. It was a battle. And he wanted to return to fighting, but his health didn't allow him to do so. So he went down to Texas and convalesced there. But before he could get back into the fight, the war was over. And he was one of the people who refused to accept the surrender of the Confederacy and wanted to try to, the whole South will rise again. You may have heard about this as of late. And he was in Texas, like I say, and the war was over, and he realized he was in a bit of trouble. So he and a number of folks, like-minded folks, went to Mexico, formed a community down there. He tried to make a go of it there, and then he ended up moving back into the States. He applied for a pardon, and was interesting in that he was one of the few people who was not given a pardon by Andrew Johnson. Interesting. And on this day, he was in Texas, and he was sitting in the parlor of his house, and someone fired a couple of shots. Musket fire. I mean, this was not a drive-by automatic weapon kind of thing. This was musket shots were fired into the thing, and it hit him in the face and neck, and he died. It's interesting, he had engaged in a political debate earlier on, and there's some evidence that maybe his opponent on that side of it might have had something to do with it, but it's never been solved as to who did it, though in his final words he said he forgives whoever did this and hopes people will forgive what he had done. How charming. So there you go, and there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video, because I do these videos for you, and you know who you are. And if you did like the video, hit the like button, subscribe to it, hit the notifications so you're made aware of when the next one will be coming forth. emerging from the ooze to assault the world. And there's some interesting stuff that's coming down the pike on this channel, so by all means subscribe to it. And that is assuming you survive all the malevolent things that will be happening to you on this day. And if you do survive, hope to see you back here tomorrow. And if you don't survive, well, do me a favor if you would, as you're dying there, if there are other people around you, assuming you have the opportunity, as death is approaching, call one of them over and look at them and point to them and say, you have to stop doing that. And then close your eyes and drift away. Always leave them guessing. That's my recommendation, because I'm Todd Robbins. And in regards to this day today, well, good luck.